Hi, what's up everyone? My name is Max Patton and I want to help you go paperless. Going paperless can save you a lot of stress and give you a lot of convenience whether you're a high school student or a college student. I've been doing it for quite a while now, about 6 years, ever since I got my first iPad Pro, and it's been really amazing. It's saved me a lot of weight in my backpack. I'm not limited by that anymore. I don't have to manually organize as much. It's very great for that. If you're the type of person who is really good with dividers and binders and sorting all that stuff out and it's never been a problem for you, then maybe going paperless doesn't make a ton of sense. It's still really convenient, but if you're the kind of person who hates organizing, who doesn't like having to carry a bunch of stuff in their backpack and is constantly, losing stuff or dealing with that, then going paperless can really change a lot of it. So in this video, I'm going to go over some advice for going paperless, both on the hardware end of things, like what you need to do it, software, the apps I use, and the social methods and just best practices that I've discovered in my years of living a paperless lifestyle. Hardware-wise, I would recommend using something like a tablet. That can be an iPad. iPad Pros are great because they have magnetically charging styluses that are really fancy. The Surface Pro is also really great. Just make sure it has a stylus. You can even use a 2-in-1 laptop because you might need to use a laptop for school, so you probably also need a tablet. Getting two devices is expensive. In that case, I would recommend looking at the Dell XPS 13 2-in-1. 2-in-1 devices are a great compromise, especially stuff like the Dell XPS or the HP Envy 360. I could go on and on with the weird names of all the Windows products that you could look at, but there's options out there. Don't fret too much about hardware. Just make sure that what you're getting is able to be used as a tablet in some form, whether you fold around the keyboard or it's just a tablet, and make sure you get a stylus for it so that you can handwrite notes. Handwriting notes is a huge deal. And if you're an artist, if you like illustrating, then that's just an extra bonus. Make sure you get an active stylus. If you're getting an iPad, the Apple Pencil has all that. If you're getting a Windows device, make sure it supports what is called active styluses. It is a technology that lets styluses do a bunch of advanced things like have an eraser on the back or configurable buttons or basically just read your handwriting better. Sometimes you'll need to change the batteries in those. That's something to consider, but get one of those with whatever you end up buying. Now, I like tablets because they're light and portable. I have a cellular connected iPad, so if I'm in an area with bad Wi-Fi, I can connect to a cellular network. I can buy a plan really quickly if I need to. Sometimes you're in a coffee shop with terrible Wi-Fi. The form factor is adaptable. I read a lot. And on an iPad, reading is really great because the screen format is very comfortable for that, whether you're in landscape or you're in portrait orientation. If you're an engineer or an architect, you probably need a laptop that runs Windows because you're probably going to be using programs that do that, or maybe a Mac. If your major involves a lot of reading, like a liberal arts type thing, you might be able to even get away with just a tablet. That's something to consider. So look it up beforehand, look up what apps are available. Don't count on desktop apps coming to tablets like the iPad because it's a slow process. There's not even full Photoshop on here. It's getting better, but it's still not the same. So chances are you might still need a laptop, so just consider that. My hardware is this iPad Pro. I use it with a smart keyboard, which is Apple's overpriced magnetic keyboard accessory. That means I can take it off. It's really nice. It's still very light, and it's a double functions as a case for my iPad. So I can use it as a keyboard, like so, or I can just use it as a case to protect the iPad. Microsoft makes one for the Surface Pro that's similar. They're magnetic. All of these are very expensive, but they're convenient. Do consider, though, that you can use a Bluetooth keyboard and save a lot of money. I mentioned the hardware a lot. I've talked a lot about it, but software is just as, if not more important, to your paperless experience. The first app and the most important one I use is OneNote. OneNote is a free app by Microsoft. It's one of the many great note-taking apps you can find. On the iPad specifically, some other great ones include Notability, GoodNotes, some people like Evernote. You can even use Apple's built-in Notes app, but the functionality is a little bit basic. I use OneNote because it's really interesting. I can obviously organize my notes and have categories, but beyond that, I can combine text and handwriting, and I can move around my handwriting by circling with the stylus and really easily reorganize things. And coolest of all, I can actually search through my handwritten notes because it'll recognize my handwriting and convert it to text, which is really nice. Other most important thing if you're going paperless is a scanning utility. This basically turns the camera on your device into a scanner. You can take a handout or a piece of paper that professor passes in class and convert it into a PDF. And some of the better apps like Adobe Scan, which is what I use, or Scanner Pro, or Office Lens, they'll actually read that text on the paper and convert it. So it's not just like a dumb image. You can actually copy the text from like a printed out sheet that you scanned, which is really cool. In an ideal world, I mean, you wouldn't need to deal with it anyways because everybody would be emailing or whatever, but if you have to deal with paper, and chances are you will, you need a scanning app. I use a PDF app for all my course readings that my professors upload on our school website. You'll want a PDF app that lets you annotate and mark up things you're reading. It's really cool that you can still write in the margins and draw pictures paperlessly. You can still do that on a tablet, but you're going to need to make sure that you're using a good PDF app. I use PDF Expert on the iPad. For textbooks, I would really recommend Amazon's Kindle app. You can actually digitally rent textbooks there, and it's very convenient. Now, if you can't find your textbook digitally, then you're going to need to consider scanning the pages of that textbook beforehand before you go somewhere, so you don't need to carry that heavy, big textbook around, or find some other workaround. It's unfortunate, but not all of them are digital. For the ones that are digital, though, like I said, I really like Amazon's Kindle app. It's very cheap to digitally rent them. One thing to consider, if you're on an iPad, though, and this confuses a lot of people, you'll download the Kindle app and you'll maybe look up a textbook in the Kindle app, but you won't be able to buy it. That's because of some weird dispute Amazon and Apple have. All you need to know is just go in a web browser, go in Safari, whether it's on your iPad or some other computer, make sure it's the same Amazon account, and buy it on the website. For some reason on iPads, you cannot directly purchase textbooks or books in the Kindle app. But the Kindle app is a good reading experience. Otherwise, I like being able to highlight text. It's very convenient. Also, submitting homework. So whatever your learning management system or school website is, you probably have a way of uploading things. I upload PDFs of my handwritten homework, or if they're handouts in class, what I'll do is I'll scan them, and then I'll use a PDF utility like PDF Expert, which is what I use, to actually draw on that PDF, like if I have to fill stuff in, and then I can just email that to my professor. Or if your professor is stubborn, then you can print it out for them. Lastly, I just want to give some general advice that I've learned from going paperless, some of the best practices that I find. Number one is talk to your professors. A lot of people have professors who are very strict about electronics. They might have a policy, no laptops or no electronics in class. And I've had professors like that, but every one of them has let me use an iPad when I do this. I go up to them first day of class, as soon as possible after class, and I say, "Hi, I use a tablet for note-taking. It's very convenient. Would you mind if I took paperless notes on a tablet in your class?" And explain what that means. Explain and volunteer to sit in the front and have your tablet or whatever device you're using face down, and explain that you can actually write with a stylus. When professors realize that, and that you're not, you don't have some laptop up in front of you that you could be doing anything on, they tend to get a lot more comfortable. And like I said, everyone I've talked to has then been okay with me using an iPad in class to take notes. Now, it's on you to not get distracted and to stay focused, but just keep that in mind. Talk to your professors and be upfront about it. And then the hardware, don't fret too much about it. Like I said, you can use an iPad. I use an iPad. I really like the tablet experience of iPads, but they're expensive. Don't worry about getting the iPad Pro model if you can't afford it. They're very nice, but the basic iPad still works with Apple Pencil. If you get the iPad Pro, then you'll need to get the different version of the Apple Pencil 2. It's a little confusing. And if you're getting a Windows device, then just do the research and make sure whatever stylus you're getting works with it. But beyond that, use whatever is best for you, whatever you can get the best price on, or whatever runs the operating system you prefer most. Also, if you're a student, you can probably save money on a lot of these devices. If you're buying an Apple device, you can save $50 to $200 on your tablet, just going through the education store. As long as you have a working school email address, most of the time you'll be able to get those discounts. Microsoft has something similar. No matter where you're buying, you can probably find some student discounts. So do the research on that and take advantage to save some money. And lastly, just talk to other people who are paperless. There's probably someone else at your school who takes paperless notes, and I evangelize it. When people ask me about it, I explain. That's why I'm making this video. Feel free to do the same, Share with your classmates or people who ask you about what you're doing, why you're taking paperless notes, or if you see someone else, ask them what they do. And online on Reddit, there's plenty of communities that talk about this stuff and the best app to use, all that stuff. So take advantage and mainly just enjoy the paperless lifestyle because it's pretty nice. And my back is definitely a lot happier now that I'm not carrying textbooks and binders around. I'm just carrying around my iPad.